Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 80 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Lillian, and we have our players today, the new always. We have Frank, Kyle, Mac, Josh, and Christo. We hope one day our wild magic sorcerer slash cleric will join us again, but at the moment, she's off on her own adventure, and sometimes it be like that. I think I'll go ahead and give us a quick recap, and then we will jump into the chaos we left everything in. Last session, you had all arrived in the town where the lighthouse was. This lighthouse is composed of the leg bone of Loki, the prophecy inclining that you may have to find the keeper of the lighthouse, which in this town there are many rumors about, and none of them are the same. And if somebody mentions one, everybody else in town will tell them it's bullshit. So it's really an unreliable source. In this town, you also met Bragi again, the actual literal god, who told you that he has not gone anywhere near the lighthouse and thinks if you're going, you should be there as little as possible. When you arrive at the lighthouse, you spend either 10 minutes or 40 years wandering the stairs. Somewhere in between.
We didn't age, so who knows?
Probably 10, emotionally 40. As
Poor
many of
Tordrekt.
you were compelled to experience terrible hallucinations. Tordrekt. Wow. Hi, Abby. Tordrekt experiencing like a shift in time where it seemed that he felt he was there longer than everyone else. His number on counting stairs way higher than everybody else's. Fen inclined to keep moving no matter what, and Gorbjorn inclined to keep moving upwards. The rest of the party trying to figure out what's going on while trying to help their friends and witnessing the pre-life and end of life of people around them, like a woman who goes upstairs, has a good time, ends up coming back down, she's pregnant later, there's a child, and she ends up being old later. Just time flow being real fucked up. Eventually you're confronted by a man who casually asks basically what gods you bring with you and where are they. Saga is hard to break, and for a while refuses to divulge Bragi's location. After deals are struck with the entity, which you later find to be Loki, living inside his own leg bone, information is given on both sides, and he promises that he will not initiate a fight. You all go upstairs, have a conversation, and he divulges that he has also seen Goldchin Joe and the witch he travels with, saying that after he meets Bragi, he will certainly give you the information you need, but first we have to go meet Bragi. And already uncomfortably, some people sprinting ahead, trying to get the word out. Eventually it all comes to a head with a confrontation between Bragi and Loki, between Marrow and Mard, and is a fight where it looks like Loki's gonna win, and Saga, to complete her prophecy, has to just not intervene. And she will have completed her prophecy and basically gives a big no thanks. And you are all thrown into combat as she goes to Bragi's rescue. We also get a little kiss there, which is very cute. Kind of glossed over it at the moment, but very cute. And in a fit of jealousy, I guess, of being loved or having someone, Loki transforms into a large green chicken and devours Bragi on the spot. You all fight this dragon who seems to be impeded because there's his stomach, but eventually, after two of you fall, you come out victorious. Everyone lives. Loki says, I have to get to work, with a mouthful of blood, and begins to wander off. And Saga is reunited with her memories after leaving Lady Satyr, the uproar, takes up the mantle as goddess, and she remembers her son Lucas and knows that nothing else is more important to her than finding him. And with some sorrowful goodbyes, Bragi and Saga get up on Rose Petals, the unicorn, who just has the angriest look on its face as it has not been told to do otherwise. And you watch as Bragi basically hands over the mantle of the tavern to one of the women that works there. And they take a quick moment to gather things and then continue off over the horizon. And just because I've decided it's canon because it's really funny and Gorbjorn deserves it, currently has a beautiful, intricate wooden leg slung over his shoulder. Gorbjorn, you now realize why it was so hard to get this leg. Loki is missing the full leg. It is not a partial leg, it is the full leg, and it was like strapped to his body. You had to you're not holding it, it has like broken leather straps at the top because there's no way else you were getting it. And during the goodbyes, Loki has supposedly made his way to work. All of you stand in the middle of this kind of silent chaos. There is one major destroyed building, which is the one that the dragon landed upon. But there is damage to a lot of the surrounding area just from the gust from wings and the breath weapon and just everything happening. Things look a bit rough. You can still hear people kind of yelling in the distance. And there are some people you can hear coughing and trying to catch their breath. And you guys have high enough perception. And also very obviously on the ground, because the man was bleeding like a fountain, it is just like a blood trail leading down the street in the direction Loki went. He is no longer visible, but there's just a huge blood trail as all of you stand there in the middle of this. Yes, Nana.
Nana's got two priorities. First priority is anybody around here hurt, especially badly? Teammates or civilians?
Roll perception. I can't tell you about teammates per se, but...
Fair enough. I mean, I know for me, I'm very injured, but that's okay.
I think you and Roshan may be the most injured, but...
I think you are right. Perception, that's a 21.
Amazingly, you guys are the only ones who got hurt.
Huh.
They're not, you can't see anybody. You look over at the house. If somebody's in there, they're completely buried and no sign of them, but you don't see anybody. The worst is some people who are coughing and a guy who I tripped. The extent of things that happen.
Ow, my ankle.
It seems even the body of an ancient green dragon, no casualties.
Huh. That's genuinely impressive.
New record.
Okay.
Fenn's going to go ahead and cast Cure Wounds 2nd level on both Roshan and Nana. So,
Thanks.
So Nana, you get back 9 points. Roshan, Roshan, only 6 for you.
That's fine.
Understandable, but thank you very much. Appreciate it. Much better than 0. Much better than I was doing before.
As you all stand there, what's up? What are we doing?
My second priority is the lead on Golden Chinjo. All right. Loki said, he swore, once he met Bragi, he would tell us what he knew about the people we're looking for. I suggest that while the trail is still fresh, we follow him and make good on that.
Should be easy enough to find. And I still have Hunter's Mark on him too. Correct.
Is there a range on Hunter's Mark?
No range. There is a duration.
What's the duration?
Yeah.
I know that it gives you bonuses to finding your quarry.
Yeah. The range is to cast. Duration is concentration up to an hour.
Then you still certainly have it.
Okay.
There's been a quick bit of chaos at this time.
Yeah, it's advantage on any wisdom perception or wisdom survival check to find it.
I'm gonna tell y'all. I think
Big
a
old trail
blind
of
man
blood.
could probably find Loki at this point in time.
Smells like blood.
Just patting the ground.
Hmm.
It is an inhuman amount of blood. It is unnatural.
If anyone else has anything else that needs doing, I understand. I want to get after Loki.
I need a drink.
That's very understandable. I can certainly do for a drink myself.
It's
but
been a day, like 50 years long day.
Yeah, it's been a long one. I'm gonna use that agitation for a little bit longer myself, but go on and get yourself some rest, Roshan. You've earned it.
I'd probably come around the corner now with the wooden leg, just like, guys, you'll get a kick out of this.
Just comes over with a leg.
Gorbjorn, that pun was bad and you should feel bad.
No inspiration. Christo has
Ah, God damn it.
With
Now, why is it that Gorbjorn gets inspiration and Fen takes damage?
when Gorbjorn
his brain explodes. Why?
when Gorbjorn's around, something's always afoot.
Oh, God damn
God,
it.
now it's only fair. Fine, you can have one too. Fine, everybody gets one.
Hey!
No.
Oh.
Tears. Oh, funny joke, Julian.
Fine.
Neat.
Gorbjorn, where did you find that?
From Loki.
It was it. How is he walking?
He's not.
You're saying he's just crawling on the ground?
Yeah.
Through the street?
Mm-hmm.
That'll make him easy to catch up to. All right, Roshan, you mentioned you wanted a drink. I suppose anyone else who wants to go with Roshan to the inn, go on ahead, and we'll meet back up with you.
Ooh, the inn.
Roshan will scout about for, like, not the inn that now belongs to Razi, but like the next closest one that didn't get damaged.
I mean, you're gonna
Or, just a little bit of damage.
just minimal damage.
Minimal.
Just a little bit of sawdust from the roof,
I mean, you have yet to be at one of these, so it's going to be walking around and then possibly asking somebody in town, hey, I know there was a dragon attack, but we should
Where's
all go
another inn?
So you're welcome to start walking, Roshan.
Yeah, I'll go find one of those.
And the best part is you have to start walking in the same direction as everybody else, and then like, all right, have fun.
All right, then.
It's a little awkward, but here we are.
That's all right. Along for the journey, are you?
Okay. I would like hands up if you are team go see Loki again. Okay. Are the rest of you gonna go get a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Neither one of us speaks good, but hopefully Loki's just
Yeah, I was just like
too punch
hell
drunk
yeah,
to
perfect.
care.
10 out of 10. Good group.
You can punch him until he gives up the information. It'll be fine, I'm sure.
I'm sure that's a good idea.
Sure, that's
It'll
a
be
good
great.
idea. Just keep punching a god.
So basically, all of you follow this blood trail, which you see at one point eventually does become like the slide of blood on ground, as the man is lacking a leg. But you continue to follow it, and basically all of you will arrive at this place first, and then the group will split. But you see that the blood takes a turn after a hot minute and goes like under the door of a building. Door is currently closed, but it is softs, breads, and more. And you can see that this just drag of blood goes under that door.
Part-time job, I guess.
Oh, no, I think he's in there.
Very likely. Wonder how he's fit for duty in a state like that. Gorbjorn, don't be shocked if we have to come and get that leg back. You can hang on to it for now, but just don't be surprised.
Mine, I took it.
I know you took it, Gorbjorn, fair and square. Hang on to it for the time being, but if we need it for a bargaining chip, I'm just saying, we might need it for a bargaining chip.
Already made the deal.
Yes, we did, but Loki's a trickster, so what do you want?
Well, to put a few more arrows into him, honestly, but I'd settle for the information he'd already agreed to.
Information would be better, and I doubt hurting him more is going to get it. But let's have a look.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Maybe they have alcohol
Tordrekt
inside.
will cast it.
Sean, maybe they have the more is alcohol.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Maybe it's beer and bread. You never know. Maybe it's beer cheese and pretzels.
I was about to say very similar, and then it just started going in a lot of directions.
If the group's splitting up, Tordrekt will cast emboldening bond on both Finn and Nana.
Do you need to still be within range, or is it as long as they're chilling together?
As long as they're together.
Hell
All right.
yeah, that's nice. Thank you.
Within
what
30
does
feet
that
of
add?
each other. Roll D4 for attack ability, saving throw, as long as you're within 30 feet of each other. Lasts for an hour. So
Nice.
it's once per turn. So every turn you can use it. And also,
Exactly.
obviously, Tordrekt will heal any wounds that you need healed.
Yes, please.
Ooh, please.
I'm still at 12 hit points.
Well,
Thank
let's
you,
change
Ben.
that.
I was
then.
at 3.
Let's see. 14 back for you.
Oh, thank you. Roshan's still injured.
Yeah, I'm not the
nothing.
worst.
Alcohol
I'm not the
will
worst,
cure.
though.
Who else needs some of that action? He's praying again, and does another 12.
Is that going to Gorbjorn? Was that a I'd like
I'm
to be
taking
healed,
it.
please hand?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, water's coming from his hands as he's talking about the different sisters, and then he just splashes what looks like water, but it heals you.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Throwing around some healings. I don't even think I went into Tordrekt's thing and changed his health or anything. Tordrekt, could you put yourself at like half health?
Oh wait, that healing's for me. No, just kidding. One second.
You're like, and you're like, no, those are mine.
Sorry.
You're like,
That
I
makes
got
sense.
out of that combat.
Just
Just fine.
got it. Okay, took care of it.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Hopefully
That was why I was kind of holding back. I'm like, I don't know if this has been updated. So
it is not, but we'll talk about it if you try to do a lot more things or if something
right,
big starts happening.
understood.
Okay. So is it now Gorbjorn and Tordrekt who are going to drink, or what's happening?
I thought maybe there would be drinks inside here. But
It's worth a look.
if it's clear there is not, then I think we should head split off.
That's fair.
Or all of you going is what's up?
Nana
go to
and
the
Finn
bar.
definitely are. Don't know about y'all.
Okay. Hands up if you're going inside, please. Okay.
Before we go inside, Nana, you look like you need a bit more. You still look a little rough. I can't hear you if you're speaking to me.
Sorry. It's been a long day.
I-
I'm feeling a little rough, but I will be all right.
I'd like you to be a bit more protected in case things go badly. Give me a moment here, and Finn's gonna start unstrapping the armor that he has on him.
Oh, Fen, but Saga gave that to you.
Saga also made my original armor, my personal armor, and this is nice. This is fine, but I'd rather see you safe than then take more hits. So just take this. If you don't like it, you can give it back later. But if we're gonna go see Loki again, oh goodness, I'd rather you have this than me. So
All
here.
right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Over the span of a few minutes,
They just swap armor.
takes off armor, and then somebody puts on armor, and Roshan stares into the void. But eventually, armor switched. It takes only a moment for you to attune to it. And you now have a glamored studded armor.
Nice. Thank you kindly.
And after this changing of clothings, you open the door to go inside. Inside looks like a pretty quaint bakery energy. There are jars of things, there are bottles of things on the walls. It is a plethora. You imagine that the small scent you can smell is the smell of cooking bread. And then the big scent you can smell is the smell of blood that has filled the space very aggressively. You can see that there is a plump older woman currently kneading dough near the counter. And she takes a glance over and she kind of gives a wave. And directly at the central counter, where one might go to talk to someone, you see blood beginning to spill over the front, fully pulling onto the floor. And the fully bent over just form of Loki, hair forward, just matted messes of blood and spots, just sort of limply hanging over the counter. And you watch as the woman looks over. Hey, Marrow, could you take care of the customers? I don't want you handling the doughs right now. And you watch as an arm, another arm, and Loki pushes himself up and smiles, just red teeth from the blood that is still just in his mouth. Welcome to Soft's Breads and More. The more is bread. And smears blood. And has just propped himself up sort of on the counter. How could I help you?
Well, just a certain little something that we had previously arranged to be exchanged upon completion of a certain meeting. In other words, the information pertaining to the individuals you said you knew of.
Doesn't sound like bread.
No, it
looks
does
over
not
at
sound
Saf.
like bread. Is there any way perhaps that we might be able to, I don't know, recompense your employer for a brief 10-minute break, perhaps?
No, I think Saf can sit right here, right? I don't see a problem, do you? I'm just trying to wipe the blood from his face, and you watch as he and then reaches into his mouth and peels off some coagulated blood and just kind of flicks it off. And then just continues a very just calm expression in your direction. I'd love insight from anybody who's vibing insight currently.
I will
Whoever's
vibe
feeling
insight.
that.
I will feel that vibe. We'll
22.
see if that vibe feels me.
Only 14 for me, so
17.
The obvious things. So Nana and Roshan, you can see looking at Loki. You guys did a shit ton of damage to this dude. And he has only one obvious wound. And that wound is where Bragi left the dragon's stomach. That is the only thing seeming to persist in any form or fashion. That is what continues to bleed. So that's what you guys can see by looking. Roshan, you can see more clarity in his eyes. That that manic, crazed energy seems to have diminished a good bit. There's little flicks of it, but he seems much better than he did at the lighthouse, and much better than he seemed in front of Broggy, and kind of like looks over the group. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying. Broggy kind of broke y'all's deal. What happened with, and he motions to his own stomach. What happened to him?
He's been through an awful lot, and quite frankly, it was not very sporting of you to dig in as many barbs as you did. Frankly, I think that you invited the altercation that you subsequently lost.
It just like smears blood across his face.
Rather badly.
I think. And his eyes narrow a bit. Did you see any corpses out there?
No, honestly, and that was
a
curious.
choice.
Hmm.
It was a choice. I don't want to change my mind, but I do. Anyways. What was the issue with his stomach? And just go straight back to that. What was that? If you could just tell me that real quick. I think that'll make up for his need for an altercation. It seemed only fair to tell him what I had done. You know, it weighs heavy on the conscience, and that I may have done it poorly.
Perhaps. Well,
What's he asking? Can you clarify that?
He's asking when Broggy used magic. You guys watched as like the blood runes showed up on his stomach. He's asking what that injury is.
which we would have seen was a result of his imprisonment in the tomb pool.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when we found Broggy, he was in a very bad way. It seems that while we mortals can't kill a god like you,
No.
we're still very capable of keeping you somewhere stuck against your will, dismembered and helpless for a very long amount of time.
At least centuries.
At least
And
Broggy.
well, I don't want to find out if it's something that can be done to you either. I just want the information that was promised to us before, and we'll be on our way, and you can stay here and bake bread and live in your tower. And I don't
I'm an
want to see
intern.
you.
I'm not allowed to really bake bread.
Well, at the moment.
Anyways, not important. If anyone lays a hand on me, I'll kill everybody in town. I think it was humbling and fun. It was very fun. But I'm a bit tired of it now. I just want to get that straight.
That's very fair. Honestly, I do not believe any one of us is eager to fly into another fight. Especially not today.
Good. I am a man of my word. And his voice changes, and it's just like that when he like summoned Broggy, it's just that deep, just guttural and echoes. And he's like, Soph, enjoy yourself in the back. And Soph straightens up. Okay, you guys have fun. Call me if you need anything. And she like picks up the dough she had and like walks to the back. My mind's a bit foggy sometimes, so you'll have to bear with me, but it's a little better now. I always forget how bad it is when, you know, I stay in the leg.
It does
Why
seem
it's so
like
fast.
well, it's a rather disconcerting place to begin with.
Oh, yes. Anyway,
Mm.
you were asking about people who can I get you guys anything to eat? And like just motions at things in the room. Do you need something? It's a bakery.
It is a bakery.
I think I just
Frankly-
prefer to get the information and leave you to your business.
Fair enough.
And honestly, it would perhaps behoove all of us to have this done quickly and painlessly as possible. We were asking about folk who wore white robes, gold ornaments, masks with gold embellishments. Specifically, there was a woman called Eitri, a man called either Mikkel or Mikeel, something like that.
The gold painted chin.
That's familiar. Yes.
Gold
Annoying. A nuisance. Bothersome.
He came to you.
Oh, they both did. They both came to me directly,
At the lake?
offering a deal, wanting. I don't know what they really wanted from me. I got to tell you, I don't think I should have been the focus of their endeavor. The man. I don't know. They didn't introduce themselves, just came and talked, but the descriptions, yes.
Something I would like to know. Do you recall when they visited, was one of them wearing a brooch with 3 spears?
That's very specific.
It is.
You know? I don't think I was looking that close. I was staring at all that stupid chin paint and
It's
the
rather
god killer on
obnoxious,
his
isn't
back.
it? Yes. Yes, I had wondered
That
if
was
you'd held
more
on to that.
distracting than I would say jewelry. I wasn't afraid, I was just more interested. And kind of hoping they'd pull it out. Didn't lay a hand on it though. If you
And they
find
had-
them, acquire this, you know where I am.
And they
You may
had
return it and stab me with it if you're not busy.
That's an explicit request?
they
Or
had
are
Odin's
you
spear.
merely pulling our leg?
What was that?
They had Odin's spear when they visited you.
Yes, they had Gungnir with them. Interesting. I know exactly what they wanted for. And they didn't kill me with it. So I can't say.
Do you know where they
Eh.
went, or where did you direct them?
I don't know if I directed them anywhere. I didn't have anything to give really. They were very into the into god decay, you know?
Were they seeking an
wanted-
alliance, or were they seeking information?
I think it was an alliance of sorts. Maybe information on locations, but really don't have. I feel like the gods aren't very subtle in their locations. But
They do rather seem to personalize the space rather well.
it's amazing how obsessed and hands-on everyone is, mortals are, with corpses except their own. Love god corpses. Can't get enough. And they reeked of it. Just smelled like decay. Especially the woman. Smelled deeply of decay. You may not be able to smell it, but I can.
Specifically, god decay.
Oh,
Specifically.
yes. And then motions at Roshan. He has a scent himself.
Really?
So
Sort of motions at Roshan's body, like,
Just all of it.
did you direct them anywhere? We had a prophecy, and it said that the keeper of the lighthouse could be a compass for us.
Well, that makes me sound useful and helpful. Let's see. And sort of just runs fingers through his hair, trying to get out like the matted blood. So you're shy about it? Like looks at Roshana, goes back to the previous conversation. You're shy about it. It's kind of like wearing like a skeleton's teeth around your neck and being like, oh, don't look at it. You know?
Do you want to talk about it?
No, I'm good. So, what did they want? Where did they go? And you just kind of like watch him like tilt his head back a bit and think, and then you watch like a couple of the eyes like shift over into different colors. I didn't ask Froggy what I looked like. That's stupid of me. That was important. Shit.
I don't suppose any old mortal would do in that case, then.
Unless you remembered, but sadly, I don't think that's something like this. Actually, it's probably more like this, and you just like, he like moves a hand near his eyes, and you watch like the eyes like fade out into like a blind sort of eye and like thick scar tissue covering half of the face. Pink edges. It's probably more like this, but that's, and goes back to normal.
I don't mean to be
the
rude,
man.
Loki, but yes, the man.
No, please be rude. Very fun. The man, he did not stay as long as the woman did. He left
had
sooner.
More questions?
She kept showing up to, I don't know, persuade me. I had her walk the stairs a few times for fun. Kept coming back. I thought that was interesting.
On the same day, or was it different days?
No, different days. The man. Time is so strange. 2 months, give or take.
Ago?
Yes, something like that. And the woman, gosh, she stayed for quite some time. I think I saw her less than a week ago, perhaps.
You don't say.
I do. Where did they go? Yes. Questions. Helpful. Compass. Your friend talked about the uproar. How is she?
How is she?
What is she doing?
So
I
far
imagine
as
she's
we're aware,
happy.
Never
Good
met
for
her
her.
myself.
She seemed pleased with the members of our party who knew her better.
Good ally. I think. Very good choice.
Nana's kind of filing that under things that Loki recommends.
The blood loss is making it hard to think. I had a
Would,
whole man fall out of my stomach.
by any chance,
I can't say
would
is
any
even
kind of
weird.
healing magic we could do assist with that? A good berry?
Can I incite that statement? Like, he's pretty lucid, but
About how he is, if he needs healing or not.
yeah.
Go ahead and roll insight.
Oh, well, that's a nat 1. So.
Oh no! Can I
It's okay, he
attempt
rolled
an
a
insight
nat.
since I'm the one who was asking him?
If
He
you'd
rolled a
like
nat
to.
20?
No, I'm saying I rolled a nat 1 on remembering if he saw a brooch or not.
Oh,
Oh.
that's fair.
He's like, nope.
Holy shit! Nat 20!
Wow. There we go. Flip it around, boys.
Plus 626, whatever that means.
Oddly enough, Trickster God, pretty hard to read. But you know what you can see visually is a man who has bled for a mile.
Yeah.
And is still bleeding and looks a bit pale, a bit paler than he even was. Like, he looks like he is affected. He is not dying, but he is affected.
Is there anything that we might be able to do to staunch the bleeding for you, if nothing else?
If you have something, it's not my specialty.
I can try my best. It's been a time since I did a field dressing, but if you'll allow me.
Sure, I'm not doing anything. It'll give me time to think, because they talked so much. They talked so much. His smug little face. Yip, yap, yip, yap. You know, the worst.
Nana's gonna let him talk while she gets out, some cloth, some stuff, things to help patch up this whole manhole out of this man's belly.
He would stand up to help you. He can't. So you have to do this, like, you have to kind of reach around. He's sort of still bent over a good bit.
Mm-hmm. Kind of help him lean up a little, maybe perch him against the counter a bit, kind of roll up his shirt some.
Just manhandling this god. I got you, bitch. Don't you worry, bitch.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine, bitch.
While she's doing that, I'll make it. I don't know. He'll probably see it, but I'll give him a healing word to make it feel like the wound dressing is helpful.
Are you trying to be stealthy about it?
Yeah.
Is there somatic component?
Yeah.
Roll sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand? Okay.
To see if he sees your hands wiggling around.
That's an 18. Ooh. Oh, healing word is verbal only. Sorry.
Oh.
Well, add your stealth bonus then.
The same.
Okay. I had a feeling. He seems caught up in being manhandled. You don't know if he noticed or not.
10 hit points to him.
Wow, your hands are magical. Looking at Nana.
It's very much appreciated. Honestly, I think I've maybe only been given that compliment twice.
I could give it to you a couple more times.
Feel bad for Nana's girlfriends.
Very kind of you. Very kind. But honestly, it would do my heart much good if you might consider perhaps any other information you might have on the golden-chinned asshole.
Yes. Yes. They spoke of many places. They had a lot to talk about. Mostly, the forest, the big skull everybody lives in.
The forest of Idun, you mean?
Yes. Poor Broggy. Be terrible. Just a whole manifestation of a person just there. I wonder if my wife's not dead. Anywho, not important. And kind of thinks on it. They spoke of the east, the cliffs. They spoke of a library. I told them I can't read. It's a lie, but I wanted them to stop talking to me about libraries.
That makes sense.
They tried to say the contacts they had. They said they had a powerful woman of the arcane with them, and this was the woman saying this to me, so there has to be another arcane woman. And they seemed very interested in a man who could control corruption, and I have to say, how interesting.
As it happens, perhaps a little tit for tat, we can tell you at least that there is such a man, and that he recently did a demonstration in DM, what was the last town name, please? I'm sorry.
I've never been there.
I understand. Neither have I.
Noansect.
It's been 2 weeks. Noansect?
Yes.
Thank
You're
you.
currently in Havalizer. Yeah, the light.
Yes. Recently did a demonstration in Noansect.
Huh.
Seems as though
Well, then they should be able to scoop them up real fast then. Fast friends.
You believe that they're Did it seem as though they had some sort of singular base of operations, or did it sound as though they were traveling rather constantly?
I don't think they were near home. You know, when people have east energy compared to west energy,
Yes,
you all have aggressive west energy.
I've been told.
But they have east energy because they're just like, where the god corpse is at, I want to eat them, you know?
That does
Very east
rather...
energy.
That's very aggressive East energy, if I have to
Um,
put a finger on it.
Oh, you said Weast.
the woman finally gave up and went in the direction of the coast.
Towards the
Well,
That was the last time I saw her.
Which coast?
The one closest to here?
Oh, yes. Southwards for a bit, and then it starts going east. I don't know. I don't travel the roads anymore. I did that a few times. Gosh, is there anything else? Can't remember all my promises now.
I actually have to double check that myself.
I had a question entirely unrelated to what we've been talking about. We know a person who was interested to know if one of your offspring survives. The world serpent.
And you just see like a moment of actual like emotion on his face.
Oh, does it seem pretty genuine?
You're welcome to roll insight.
18?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's Loki, but maybe.
I lost many children. Some before the war. Gods are petty. But
I've noticed.
Jormungand. Everyone seems so afraid to go out on boats. Maybe he is not who he was, but I think he is with us.
Would you know him if you saw him? Even if he didn't look as he did?
I would say if you presented a snake to me, I could be convinced.
Fair enough.
Sadly, Fenrir, no such luck. It may only be him. I haven't dwelled on that in a while.
Thank you.
Is there anything else, bread?
Actually, I think that the member of our party that liked bread the best has left us. So
Perhaps,
the rest of us
actually...
might drink our bread tonight.
Well, at least in her memory. Embarrassingly enough, I've only 9 copper in my purse. I don't suppose any of your bread might go for something so small.
I could pretend the bread's more expensive than that. It is not. And he like looks at his hands and then like looks at the bread and he's just like, if you put a nice copper down on the table, you can have this bread.
Thank you very much. Nana will even place 3.
If you all come to my lighthouse again, you won't leave. Have a nice day. Thank you for coming to Saf's Breads and more.
Thank you very much for your time, Marrow. You've been extremely helpful.
Of course. If there were things you could sign and say I did a good job, I would give them to you, but we stopped doing that because people are mean.
That's terrible. Nana will, Legit, Nana will just pull out just a little bit of paper, because she's got paper. She's been writing letters. Just write out a nice little note for Saf. Marrow has been extremely helpful today. Allowed us to buy some excellent bread and gave us some wonderful information about some friends we were looking for. Thank you very much.
You watch the smile on his face just widen. I like you.
Thank you.
I feel bad about breaking your skull on a wall.
Well, I suppose I've had worse turns from gods.
That's a shame. I could give you a gift.
What sort of a gift do you offer?
I don't have it with me, but if you come by the lighthouse, let's say tomorrow, if it may take me that long to get back, I will give you an object of worth.
You just
trade-
mention.
You did just say that we wouldn't be allowed to leave if we came
Don't
to
come
the lighthouse.
in. I'll
Oh,
kill
I
you.
see. Come up and knock upon the door.
As normal people do, yes.
Of course. Only natural.
A nice object for a nice object. And he kind of like moves the paper back and forth.
That
And
would
if you
be
don't
very
show up,
kind.
I'll just keep it, I guess.
Only fair.
Enjoy your drinks.
Thank you, Marrow. Enjoy your evening. I hope your
Enjoy
shift
the
goes
leg.
smoothly. If you need it back, we can
wouldn't.
convince our barbarian to part with it. Perhaps he'll even be so drunk he won't miss it.
I don't think that he'll be convinced of that, actually.
No.
The leg was made a long time ago by a lover. They were married, and they like one of them would go like cut down the tree, and then the other one would carve it. It's beautiful. But that was a long time ago. I'm fine.
Would a replacement be suitable if we could find one?
If you happen across a leg, I suppose, in the wild.
We'll keep an eye out for one.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I ever got your name.
Nana Hemming's daughter.
I won't forget you until you die eventually.
High praise. Thank you.
And I'd need at least like 3 more kisses not to forget you, and like motion, like kind of vaguely motions at Roshan. All right, have a nice day.
Good afternoon, Marrow.
And all of you slip out of the bakery.
Well, that went smoother than expected.
He was barfing up blood the whole time.
Yes, it was not precisely a godly threat to overcome, but honestly, I felt for where he was.
I need a drink.
Same.
Maybe Tordrekt's found the place with the best ale so far. He's got a nose for that sort of thing. I miss him.
Let's get back.
I just pictured Tordrekt like standing on a box and like sniffing the air. I'll find it. And honestly, there's never a roll needed. I feel like it's an innate ability for Tordrekt to be able to find a nice place to drink.
Yes, this is Tordrekt's talent.
And he goes there on his tippy toes the whole way once he smells it.
Gorbjorn, you see him perk up and you're like, he's found it.
He follows the little stick lines through the air of the beer.
And just like makes his way forward.
Good.
You find a place, and oddly, a lot of people drinking. This seems to be the vibe after a dragon attack. It seems plenty of people want to go get a drink because holy shit, there was a dragon attack. Is there anything the two of you wanted to do besides get a drink and find yourselves a good table?
I want to kick open the door and be like, who wants to buy a dragon slayer a drink?
He's a barbarian after my own heart.
honestly,
Do you kick the door open with the leg?
Yeah.
with both legs. I'll never use my own legs again. Honestly, with that energy, no roll necessary, my man. It is going to be free drinks tonight from plenty of people who are excited they were not killed by a dragon.
Hooray!
You are a hero, and it's not even like a lie or anything. It's the truth.
Yeah, pretty legit.
You guys are showered in drinks, and can do as you both please tonight. You guys have run of the shop. Anything to do before your friends get there, or is it just we're gonna drink and have a good time?
After telling a bit of stories, because we had a bit of time, if there's a moment where the crowd is just being themselves and we get a moment to talk, I would, Gorbjorn would look over to Tordrekt. It's like, I didn't know I would make you sad if I stole from Temple, and my god kind of was, I don't know if she is my god, but she's very tempting, and I don't favor a lot of gods. So I would like to give you one of my treasures, but not the crown. I need the crown.
Well, I think I understand. I'll probably pray to the Nine Sisters and ask that they take it as a sacrifice to them. But sure, I like gifts.
I'll message you with what I got, but it's I think it's only got like a ring of jumping, the Titan grip gauntlets, and the cloak of protection.
Yeah. Which thing would you like to give him?
Have you ever seen a dwarf jump?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. I like the jump ring would probably be the funniest for Tordrekt. So
I can jump the distance.
I would love to give Tordrekt the ring of jumping.
Okay. Tordrekt, you were presented with a beautiful ring.
Tordrekt takes it, and does it have writing on it?
You look over it, and it looks like if you look close, it appears to be like it has a little frog on it. Like you can see the jump lines. And at the end of each one, there's a rune at the point of impact on the ground. And you can tell that it's probably magically inclined. Very well made.
From his book?
I mean, he could sit down and look at it, but he knows what the ring does. Ring, do jump way too high. Tordrekt's like, don't worry, I got it. Everything from the high shelf, he has it now.
Hell yeah.
So, how many people are serving drinks, or is there just the bar, or is there actually like somebody serving?
There is a person at the bar. You can also see there is a woman running around working with drinks too.
Okay. So to test the ring, he's going to try to jump from where he's at the bar and try to jump right over to the server.
Oh, easy.
Like grab a drink in midair and grab it and drink it.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah. Watch this shit.
Hold my beer. I'm going to get another.
Exactly.
Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check, please.
This is going to be dive bombing, okay? Because he's got a -1 to that.
If that's your worst skill, you might have a bingo.
Yeah, he rolled a 7.
Woo. Oh, never mind. No bingo today.
Incoming! That's
oh, no!
The jumping is not the problem. The jumping is the easy part.
It's steering.
this woman is like holding like a tray out in front of her, and you like she hears incoming, and she goes, "Huh?" And it's just you in the tray, and then it's not in her hand anymore. She just like looks back, and it's gone. And you in this tray fully sail across the room.
He cusses in dwarf a whole bunch.
Does he fly into the door as we walk in?
And you land covered in ale, but you see one has survived pristine in the center of the tray.
Gets it, stands up, bows, takes a drink, and really watching his step, walks back to the bar to where Gorbjorn is.
The woman's like
slow clapping.
Totally embarrassed. Yeah.
People clap. You guys are the saviors of the town. It's the coolest shit they've ever seen. They're like, that was weird.
That was weird. Yeah. More jumping dwarf.
Happened, but it happened.
He comes back and he stands next to the bar and goes, I don't think I'm going to be very good with this. Maybe it would be perfect to sacrifice to my goddesses. Scratches his head and starts drinking again.
What would you think if your goddesses told you to kill me because I did something for uproar?
Now, we dwarves, when we sit down and drink, although I was pretty young when I left, I'd started drinking at an early age like the rest of us. We don't talk about that kind of shite when we're drinking. Let's have fun tonight. Let's talk about it tomorrow.
Of course.
Yeah, that sounds better.
I'll lift you up on my shoulder as we both chug a beer.
Yeah!
Oh, well. Tordrekt starts singing one of his songs. One of his dwarven beer drinking songs, ale drinking songs, whiskey drinking songs.
Yeah.
Non-exclusive drinking song. By this time, all of you have arrived to a very lively place, as it often is when Tordrekt and Gorbjorn are involved.
Tordrekt's found the bar.
You can hear the singing, and you're like, that one.
Yep.
Easy enough to find your way, and all of you are reunited. It is currently kind of late in the day. By the time you get there, the sun is in the midst of setting. You spent a lot of day traveling from end to end, basically, of this town, and, fighting a dragon. So the inn, or it is also an inn, the inn and tavern, full, lively, and you may all do as you please. And if that is drink till you all are unconscious, that makes sense.
I mean, definitely, Nana's going to let Gorbjorn and Tordrekt know that we got some good information from Marrow. But, it definitely seems like they're already a few cups in, and maybe it's best to leave the detailed tactical talk for the morning. So, yeah, drinking.
Hell yeah. Your drinks and rooms are free.
Okay.
Did we get Tall to come with us?
Did we get Tall to come with us?
None of y'all went to go get Ptolemy.
Yeah.
So no.
Fuck! Oh no!
But you guys left him at a tavern, so he is currently at a place with a room.
He's chilling.
Can I try something?
What would you like to try?
I would like to try to put the name of the address on a tiny little note and try to get Jenny to fly across town to Ptolemaeus when I tell her to go find him.
Aren't we in the town full of a bunch of cats?
She can take care of herself. She's not going to get eaten by a cat.
And Jenny never returned.
Oh, no!
Right?
So you're still welcome to try this. You know that Jenny has not successfully done anything like this, non-food motivated, and has only flown to people she can physically see.
Okay. I would still like to try it.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll animal handling.
Okay. That's a 13. So I'm guessing she probably just hangs out above the bar somewhere.
Yeah, you send Jenny out and you're
Yeah.
like, I believe in you. And she's like, I am a bird. And she's gone.
I also believe in me, Emberd.
there's no falter in her confidence. That is for sure. But she flies off and is like, I'll deal with this. And you're like, maybe she will. Just
I think I'll probably walk across town and go get Toll because that's where my change of clothes is anyways. I'll fill him in on what's happened and take a short rest while I'm there and see if he wants to join us.
Sure. While everybody starts up on their drinking and rapidly, you head a bit back around town. This area is kind of like right, a bit before the very heavy cat area. So there are cats here, but you make your way out back towards kind of the area where the carnage was. Not exactly carnage. It's mostly just y'all's carnage and Loki's. But you make your way back there and you currently see some people kind of maneuvering around the home that got crushed by a big old dragon. And as you kind of glance over and start to like walk past to get to the tavern, you can see Ptolemaeus is part of that group. He is currently helping people pull things out of the house.
So, we can catch you up on what happened here. If you'd like to join us for a drink, we've changed lodgings.
Oh, is everyone okay?
Everyone's fine. And I appreciate your instinct to try to help, but we've actually done our good deed as regards to this incident. Everyone's fine. No one's badly hurt, or at least not currently.
It is good that you have done your deeds. I have not yet. So I am. This is very tiring. Is it all right if I just stay at the close by tavern?
That's fine. We appreciate your company, but if you know what, let me help you for a bit here. And if you feel like joining us later, then Gorbjorn will buy you a drink.
I'm not buying anything.
I refuse to spend a single coin today.
I'm a dragon slayer.
None of us are buying drinks, so
Gold is for bathing.
Well.
Yeah, it sounds like Gorbjorn, all right.
You stay and help for a bit. Basically, they work until the sun is fully set, and Ptolemaeus, I don't know if I could walk very far. I'll be here.
all right. I'm going to go back to the room that we had, grab what belongings I can. I need to change into something else, and I've just got my underclothes on basically because I gave none of my armor.
No, you all are covered in blood. Everybody is
There's
actively
that.
covered in blood.
Yeah.
But Fen, you take whatever you need from the tavern, and you can make your way back.
All right, I'm a short rest while I'm there and use.
Then so you couldn't be helping do the work if you're going to short rest, or you have to like do the work and then sit in the room for a hot minute and chill.
Yeah,
and do minimal things.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is to do some work while the sun's shining. Short rest, like whatever 7 p.m., and then go back and hit the party when the sun is down and we're all.
Yeah, Fenn's gone for like 2 hours. Like it's like I got shit to do.
Is he okay?
You don't know. I can only assume by 2 hours you are shit faced.
We're just getting started.
Woo! Roshan, have you tried standing upside down?
She's just fully handstanding.
Roshan is going to line up a line of shots and take them, and if anyone tries to talk to him, he'll start singing some bar songs.
Hell yeah.
Lucky for you, everybody's shit-faced and doesn't think that's weird.
Hell
Everyone's like,
yeah.
I love singing.
Hell yeah. I mean, like, I do think Nana kind of, like, has maybe a smidge of an inkling that kind of, like, burbles up through the beer goggles that's like, oh, yeah, Loki said that mean thing earlier. That was weird. I'll talk with him tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of things came up about Roshan in the past day, including Gorbjorn outing him and his shadow. But no, we all know it's too late now. But you all drink. Eventually, Fen returns from his moment of helping and staring into the void alone for an hour, which is very valid
Yeah, that's true.
and very understandable. But
When he
you
comes
all-
in, everybody's like, Fen! Like, Norm!
Oh God, don't touch me.
Have a
y'all
drink!
are welcome to get shit-faced. Is there anything you guys would do besides have a good time until unconscious?
I think Nana would try to strike up a Galunder drinking song with Roshan.
Roshan's not talking, so he is quick to sing. Nana starts to approach you, and you're like, huh? And she's like, and then a song starts, and you're like, oh, good. That is on the
Pulls
list
out
of
pan
things I'm
flute.
doing tonight. But you all begin to sing, and you dance, and you drink, and you drink. And is there anybody whose aim is to not get kind of shitty?
No, Fen's aim is to try and goad Tordrekt into another drinking game of whatever Tordrekt suggests, because games are fun.
I think that's probably very easy to do. Am I correct, Tordrekt, that if somebody offers a drinking game?
Tordrekt is, I was going to say that he is wanting to pray and ask some questions, and as he drinks more, the more he actually is more inclined to like want to just stop and go hide somewhere and just pray for a bit. And when he's offered the game, he feels he's going to be able to outdrink Finn in 2 seconds. So he'll just line up the best whiskeys and watch the elf pass out right in front of him and laugh.
I'm gonna murder this man tonight. Tordrekt chose violence. Honestly, probably not a very hard thing to do comparatively. From the amount that both of you drink, I think games are had, fun is had. Fen, if you participate in a drinking game with Tordrekt, you will be shit-faced. And Tordrekt, there is that moment and that pull to go pray. And after the game happens and your friends are just having a good time and just, it is a swirl of this party around you, would you step away to go pray?
Yeah, if he can tell when the party's at that spot where it goes any farther, it's going to get dangerous. So he's got to move. It's a good time to move away.
Okay.
And
where would you like to go pray?
Just perhaps out the door, around the corner, little dark alleyway type spot, unless I see water, and then that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Sadly, with your location, you'd have to walk a bit to get to some water, but it is like the scent is in the air and you can smell the ocean from the alley. And it is dark and quiet. And you begin to pray, and you also dwell back on a conversation that you had with your goddess a couple days ago by the river. And that is where we are going to take our break. Thank you all for watching so far. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to come back, and we are going to talk to some goddesses. So see you guys in 10. Go get a drink, have a snack. See you guys then.
Thank you, 10.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 80 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. The party split, had a nice conversation with the actual god Loki, who was doing his shift at a bakery as an intern,
As one does.
and answered some questions that have basically died in any other conversation. I will say most of the time it was asked of like people in taverns if they had seen a particular person, but for the first time you actually have information and a vague direction. You all have reunited at a different tavern. Not wanting to drink at Broggy's old place, I guess it's a choice. You're welcome to it. You're like, we gotta go. But a lot of you get very shit-faced. A lot of you, I mean all of you. And
We didn't want Broggy's coworkers seeing us getting shit-faced.
they can't know this is who we
just
are.
met them. They can't know.
I want them to
We don't
think
want to
that I have
reflect
it
badly
together.
on Broggy or
Brogly.
on Saga. So.
Each
Brogly.
of Broglys.
Brogly,
Brogley.
Each
Had
of
enough to drink. We
Broglys.
don't even remember his name
ahead of
anymore.
Brogly.
It's been a day. Who?
It has been.
You guys drink, and Tordrekt
Yep.
finds a moment to slip outside, and he finds a nice alley where he can still smell the ocean on the wind. How would you like to set up to pray, Tordrekt?
Tordrekt grabs his little set of miniatures that he has of each of the goddesses, and he just sits down real simple and just puts them in front of him and just breathes in the air that's smells like it's near the water and pictures the ocean in his mind, the coast where he first met with the sisters, as he believes they saved his life, and then just focuses on that power.
All right. As you focus on this power, breathing slowly, your mind goes back to a couple days ago when you were on the road with friends. You, Gorbjorn, and Saga had pulled over on the side of the road, looking for a place for all of you to commune with your goddesses. And it was an elating moment, the moment you could see the river in the distance, and you made your way over and you set up as you always have done, and you look into the icy water and you can see sort of a reflection under the ice there, in the places where it snaps. So the face is sort of a little Picasso-y, and then a piece of ice will slip away and then a new one will show up and it'll fill that spot of the face as it tries to maintain itself. As you stare into the singular face of Kolga, staring up at you from the ice, and it is a brilliant smile as she looks up at you. And you ask her questions in regards of them to Lady Satyr. You ask her about the temple. You ask her about just the constant situation you are in, if you are doing the right thing. When she speaks of Lady Satyr, it is in a tone of sadness. She feels sorrow when she speaks of her. She refers as a woman of the water, but no goddess of it. She says she remembers who she used to be and the strong woman that she had been and the hurt woman that she is now. If anyone were to follow her, it would only lead to hurt. And Kolga tells you this is why Lady Satyr could never grant the ability to heal. And that as you are their champion, and you would ask them so kindly to help Saga, that they had given her the gift of a cleric. And they supported you and her as best they could. And they told you to continue as you had, watching and keeping safe. A skill that she says all of the sisters admire in you. And her eyes look to you. And you can see hands that seem to just breach the water, as if reaching out and calling for you into the water.
Tordrekt swiftly removes any stitch of clothing he's wearing and does a cannonball into the water.
You dive in, and it is a full rush as this freezing water hits you, but it is just exhilarating and amazing to be there. And you can feel the arms of a woman around you as she speaks softly to you. Would you, champion, do something for us?
That is a question easily answered. Of course.
And there's a moment where you just, it's almost just as if you both are just kind of like laying next to each other. She has her arms around your neck and like a head on the shoulder as she looks outwards in this space in the water where it doesn't seem so cold anymore, where it's almost as if your body is fully adjusted near instantly to this situation, because your goddess is here with you. Something's wrong near the coast, being pushed away by something made of stone. A tower. There is a tower of stone, and from it something rotten comes. And I ask as our champion that you allow us to grace that area again. I wish I could tell you more. The tower, it is deep in the coast, along the south end. There are rocks like fingers, sharp and pointed and sticking from the water. And then somewhere deep below there is a tower. I ask you, we ask you to save the water there, to free it from this grip so that we may continue to nurture and help. Would you?
Of course. Anything. He says with certainty.
Hold strong. We will be. The closer you get, the more we may wane, but we will do our best to lead you forward. You'll know it when you see it. This I know. And she kisses your forehead. I'm so proud of you. You have held the mantle of champion so well. We are all incredibly proud. You feel hands sort of cupping your face. We'll see each other again.
Tordrekt takes a deep breath and feels about 8 foot tall.
And
Walks out of the water.
and as your friends watch out, they see as the shape of water, almost the shape of a woman holding around your neck, sort of slips off and goes back into the water as you come out, knowing what you need to do and knowing that you are going in the right direction. And now you sit in an alleyway, ever closer to the coast. You can smell it. And you know somewhere along here there are rocks, sharp and jagged, and there is something stone and terrible beneath the waves. And you are brought back to this moment. And what would you like to say or ask of your goddesses now?
First, he will take the ring from his finger and put it down and pray that it is taken as a offering to the goddesses. For he has little coin, and this would be the right type of thing he believes to give to them, to sacrifice to them. The ring of jumping. He prays that a bit of forgiveness, because he has not been able to just simply go in the direction while he's on his way there, and the direction is true. There have been things that have happened along the way that has kept him from simply going straight to the place where they have asked him to go. And that's primarily what he wants to do, is let them know that he is headed there, but that he will explain the situation with the gods, and that Saga has moved on, and those things all took time, and so he's asking a bit of forgiveness, and that the focus is to get there, and that the others will be told that go that follow, that he will be sharing that stuff with them as they get closer.
You take this moment and you feel an overwhelming sensation of support. And understanding. And you almost swear you can hear someone whisper in your ear, "Wear it until you see us again," as your eyes glance towards the ring. And that maybe they will take it off of your hands at that point, and that it is accepted in the way you have given it. And you feel fully connected and reassured before you are left in the alley again. A sort of warmth and the smell of the sea.
He puts the ring back on his finger, stands up, shakes his head a bit. I need a drink. Where are my friends and family? There. That's it. And he turns around the side, heads right back in.
And work right back around, and you are in again. And the night passes as if the first part of the day was not the worst. And for a moment, there is only this space. But that has to fade eventually. Is there anything else before we are all unconscious? And we are all unconscious, baby.
Boozing, singing, passing out, snoring.
Roshan, even with your newfound ability, it is the amount of drink. It's like, well, I don't need to, and it just blacks out fully.
You might not need to sleep, but you might still go unconscious.
Yep. People fall asleep in rooms or otherwise. And the night passes blissfully until Gorbjorn. You find yourself laying in bed again in the dark. You're in the room that you're in. It's the same thing. There's nothing different about it. You are just unable to move. You can't close your eyes. You are looking ahead, and it is that same overwhelming sense of dread that something is moving ever closer. And it feels closer. And you watch the window, and shadow little spindles of fingers come around the edge. And then the morning light comes, and you wake up, and it is gone. Everyone wakes up. I love Constitution saving throws from everybody. I just want to see how horrible everybody feels.
Let's find out exactly how shitty our faces got, guys.
There's no way.
Impossible.
25.
13.
30-20.
Damn.
4.
Woo!
Fen is so glad that he took that little bit of time off to take the short rest.
What do you got, Tordrekt? Roshan, your shit face.
23.
Like a high number. Hard to hear, but it sounded
23?
sounded like 23. So I'm gonna go with that.
I
Yeah,
put in the
let's
chat
take
if
it
we're
up on that.
wrong.
Yeah, Roshan, you wake up feeling fucking terrible. Utter garbage. Just
Oh, I feel just the same as I did yesterday.
wow, nothing
Aw.
changes. Time is static.
No. Poor Roshan.
Except now
How much-
you have a terrible splitting headache to put on top of it.
How much sleep did Tordrekt get?
I am going to say, because currently all of you are not in an incredible rush per se, and the fact that a lot of drinking was bad, and you will definitely be waking up later in the day, this would be a long rest for everybody.
Okay.
Hooray!
Woo.
Long rests are nice.
But it's not hard enough for everybody to reconvene over some greasy, very free food.
Hell yeah.
And
Do
all
you
of
want
you are together.
do you want me to take exhaustion or poisoning?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll tell you if it comes into play or not. You just feel sick.
Feel like garbage.
Gross.
Big old trash can.
Roshan, you look like ass. I
goes
thought
back
you didn't
to
have to
upstairs.
sleep anymore. You should probably consider sleeping anyhow.
Back at you, ass face.
I-
You don't have to
I just picture him with
sleep
sunglasses
anymore.
on, really lean back like boom.
First there's this thing about
I think that-
shadow.
Fuck you!
and then
Okay.
you don't need to sleep.
how much damage does that do to Fen? Because that was
None.
Roshan saying that.
Only if he put magic behind it.
No, Roshan's not
Emotional
malicious.
damage is at your discretion.
This is just hurting your feelings, not your psyche.
Yeah.
You should probably consider sleeping anyhow. This lifestyle of staying up all night doesn't seem to suit you.
Roshan's going to look away at his pile of greasy food and just keep eating.
Nana will kind of lean over to Fen and be like, maybe that's the case, but Maybe let's talk with him about it later when he's had a chance to get some food.
All right, that's fine, but we're all depending on him.
We are, and on each other. It's all right. We're a team.
Tordrekt looks up with. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Tordrekt looks up with a bunch of food on his mouth and says, he can drink with the best of them. Yeah,
That is true.
I know.
Unfazed. Like, he did not drink half, took everything this bar had to give, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
There will be a restock after this.
Of course there will be. But that's what happens when Dragon Slayers roll into town, you know? So that being said, Nana's kind of going to sort of bring the party in a little bit. Now it's up to all of you how much you want to discuss this right now, but we did get some good information from Marrow, our friend from yesterday, pertaining to the white-robed ones that we've been looking for.
That's kind of an overstatement, but
At the
We
very
think
least,
they're
we
heading
know
south.
a good direction. Towards the coast, he said.
We're
South and
surrounded
east
by.
a bit?
We're surrounded by coast, but it sounded like you meant south. I don't know, and I don't know what we can take of his as being true.
We can't know, is the only thing. We cannot know. We can only take it at face value. It's the first lead we've gotten in months. Ever since we lost Ave. It's the first one. We've got to at least see if there's any merit to it.
We've been following Saga and her lady's direction since we lost Ave. Essentially, since we completed Ave's tasks, and then Saga left her lady, and then Saga left us. And I've got no idea where we go from here.
We continue with what we were doing before, as well as we can. We've completed Saga's prophecy. For now, we're all here in the east. Our home is in the west. I propose that as long as it benefits us, we remain together, unless one of us wishes to leave. I don't begrudge Saga her decision. She needed to go.
Neither do I. I think Saga did what was right for Saga, and what we would have all insisted that she do in that situation. And I have no intention of leaving any of you. You are my family, and I'm with you. I just don't know where we go from here.
All we have is the information we got from Marrow. South along the coast, maybe eastward. He said that was where those two, at the very least, Eitri, was heading.
My goddesses that I pray to that give me power, that save my life. They've spoken to me for, well, I don't like putting people in danger, but there's a place where I must go, at least. It's the coast. There's a place with many rocks. I should be able to tell when I get there. It's like hands sticking out of the water. There's a place deep down there that's causing decay.
Does Nana recognize the description of that landmark? From any of Ave's charts, maps, anything she would have seen while helping with Hertha in the...
Can I make a map check?
I mean, he is our map
Gorbjorn
guy.
perks up. We talking about maps?
Ooh, maps!
Anybody is welcome to roll. Went deep into the void. Let's go with a survival and or history check, please.
Survival or history? I'm doing survival. History is not one of my worst ones. Didn't help me very much anyway. That's okay. 17?
Anybody else?
Fen's really not involved in the divine aspects of this, so
Yeah, Gorbjorn, what
survival
do we
would be.
got?
Can I have advantage because I'm so into maps and knowing everything?
Can I help Gorbjorn?
You know what? Sure. Take your advantage.
I would believe that Gorbjorn would have, like, geeked out about something about some part of a map at some point to
So
Fen.
then I got a natural 20.
Hell yeah! That's what
My
friendship's all about,
penis.
baby!
Okay. Nana? No.
Yeah,
Um,
cool. That's weird. Finger stones, you say?
the thing is the idea that there are stones shaped like bones at all is not super weird here. It's like,
That's
yes,
true.
all the gods calcified and turned into terrible shit. Makes sense.
There's the leg lighthouse for one thing.
I can see the lighthouse through the window.
Can
Yeah,
I do
it's right out
history
there.
instead of survival?
Hmm?
So it'd be 19 total, but if I did history instead of survival.
Okay. Either way, you were given a pretty interesting map were given schematics for an interesting map by your dear friend, Ptolemaeus.
Uh-huh.
And kind of comparing maps in your head. First off, you kind of dwell on it and realize there are a lot of rocks around the continent, which is half the reason travel is a struggle. Is you will crash upon the rocks, it'll be bad. So it's very hard to navigate. So you become self-sufficient and don't worry about it. But you sort of kind of skim it over in your head and
We find the
talk
right
amongst
note
yourself. I
page.
have to flip pages.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and peas and carrots.
Conversation. Hell yeah, you're doing it.
Hell yeah. At any rate, it's going to be important, I think, for us to at least, well, for me, I can't speak for all of you. For me, it's going to be important to try and find this Mikkel, whomever.
I really, something deep down told me that that's what Saga's goddess was leading us to, and that doesn't seem to be the case now, but I think that's why we're along. I think we might have found other motivations along the way to keep going.
Honestly, I think that Saga's prophecy was precisely pointing us in this direction. Loki was a compass. He didn't want to be, but he was.
But Saga stopped trusting her. Do we trust what her motives were? I didn't at first, and then I fell for the charms of Saga and wanted to believe, and now I'm not sure again. Here we are, knowing that we quite probably did quite a bit of harm to this land with what we did to save our own, based on what Ave said. How do we fix this? What do we need to do?
I don't know if we can find that answer out here, Fen. We can try. We can look. But we might draw more trouble.
Gorbjorn, real fast. The map that has this image on it doesn't exactly have a name, but that's okay because it's very specific. And maybe you could look it up on a map later and know the name. But I'm tired of flipping pages. So basically, you kind of skim the coast, and if you take a peek at the map, there is a cluster of smaller, very like thin triangular shaped rocks put up around the coast. One of the coasters hangs heavily towards a fishing community more eastward. So you can imagine like where you are sort of like at the bottom near the left. This is at the bottom, maybe a couple towns over to the right-ish. Like you can picture it in your mind's eye. Like if I just go south a bit and east a bit, eventually you think you would be hitting something along those lines.
So we could just follow the coast and get there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Which lines up
You're
with
like,
what Loki said.
so it makes sense to you that like if his goddesses told him to go to the coast and find this, you're like, oh yeah, I can imagine where that is. He's like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Whatever Lady Sada's motives may have been, it seemed as though her prophecies did ring true.
Yeah,
One way or another.
they were accurate and terrifying.
Yes.
I
The truth often is, no?
wish I'd never asked for them, honestly. They still ring in my head.
Tordrekt looks at Finn. Kolga, one of the goddesses. She told me that if you follow Lady Sada, it will only bring sadness. That she was one of the water, but not a goddess, and a sad sight. I don't know much more than that, but for them to say that, I would not want Saga to be following her any longer. If she was here right now, I'd tell her what I was told.
I didn't. From the moment I met Saga, I liked her and was sorry to see her following a goddess of any sort. I don't know what sway the gods or goddesses need to continue to have in our world. I think they've wreaked enough harm as it is, and I wish they would just leave. But I understand you trust your sisters, and I'm not sure how we know that we're supposed to trust them more than we trusted Lady Sada, or that Lady Sada was not to be trusted. I'm not sure what to do now. All I know is that I'm surrounded by people that I trust more than any of the gods or goddesses that speak to them. And I don't trust the gods or goddesses that we've spoken to. I just trust you, Tordrekt, and Roshan, and Nana, and Gorbjorn. I trust you, and I'm here to help you. And wherever we go from here, I leave in your hands. But I think we should be cautious. We all followed Lady Sada this far, on Saga's word, and I think we're lucky to all be here.
I think so. I count myself lucky to be here with you all.
And Tordrekt, I don't mean to make less of what your goddesses tell you. Your sisters. But I trust you and not them. So if you trust them, then I have no choice but to trust them. But you are my friend, and they've never spoken to me.
Well, there's different ways of communication, and Saga, Lady Sada, could have not given Saga the power to heal. It was the 9 sisters that did that.
I heard Lady Sada, and everything she said was terrifying. And I think Donna could tell you the same.
The power that I have is because of the power they have given me. And that's enough for me. But you are my family, and I followed along with all of you because I promised to do my best to keep you all alive. I'm just a dwarf, and
Just a
And,
dwarf. I will
well-
not have you dishonoring yourself so, Tordrekt.
That's it's not a dishonor to be a dwarf. I kind of like being
No,
a dwarf.
I only mean
But-
just. I only mean the word just.
You are a good man,
You are-
Tordrekt.
You are incredible. And a brave, brave soul. And a
Did you see
crackerjack.
me crash last night when I tried to jump over that thing to try to grab all the beer?
I did not.
Anyway,
I heard about it from Gorbjorn, but
Gorbjorn's like,
regardless.
let me paint you a picture.
it's just
Physically
the,
painted this picture.
it's just the way that I talk. I suppose I try to keep it to myself. There we go. I'll keep that to myself.
No, don't keep it to yourself. I guess we follow you now. I guess we follow you and your sisters. Now, to what we do next.
At the very least, I think that these sisters and Loki may just be pointing us in the same direction.
Fuck
What
some
was it?
gods up!
Yes. What was it that the sisters wanted done at this place with these rocks, Tordrekt?
Something is causing decay, death.
Okay.
Yeah, I can smell it now.
Loki did mention that
Like
at
when
the
you can
very
smell the
least
beer.
each tree stank of god rot and seemed very keen on perpetuating the smell.
It might be the same thing. I don't know.
I couldn't say, but at the very least, more than one trail seems to be leading us in the same direction. And that, if nothing else, I think is a good sign. If nothing else, I can get back Ave's crest.
Plenty of motivation from there. Gorbjorn?
I'm here to fuck this Cotton Joe. Or called Jim.
Cotton Joe.
He's still a little bit drunk, it's okay.
And it hasn't been that long. He's just like, woohoo. I'm a
Try it again, try it again. It's alright.
And Roshan, do you think we're likely to find your sister along this path somewhere? Based on the information we've gained?
As far as I know.
And that's
Keep an eye
all.
out for her.
That's all the motivation that I need is if we can solve one another's problems by pressing on, then let us do so.
Yes. We'll need to collect Ptolemaeus, or at the very least see if he wishes to continue forward. The way does promise danger, but maybe there will be places of learning along the way that he might find interesting.
I certainly hope he stays with us. I'm growing quite fond of him.
As have I, but I certainly wouldn't ask him to follow us into peril if he truly wished to stay away.
I think he's been in as much peril as he's like to see, at least equal to.
Very probably, yes, but the decision is his.
Right. It sounds like we have a direction and a consensus that we're all going that direction.
Hell yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to do today? 'Cause I am kind. You were just talking about Ptolemaeus. He is currently not anywhere. He is not near y'all. He is back
Yeah.
northwards.
Of course.
So if you wanted to talk to him, be back that way.
Is the lighthouse on the way to there? Can
The
it
lighthouse
be-
could technically be on the way there, yeah.
Awesome. Nana would like to swing by on the way to the inn where Ptolemaeus is staying.
On the way to, and we're off, not on the way to Ptolemaeus.
Right. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind then. Okay, so Ptolemaeus, then Loki's leg, then go. Yeah. Whatever order things need to happen, Nana wants to just stop by the leg.
Listen, I'm stopping by the leg.
Stopping by the leg. Anybody want anything?
Who's all going to go grab Ptolemaeus, or is it just like I'll jog over, or what's up?
Yeah, I'll go with. I'm not the most convincing, so I don't think I should go by myself. But
Yeah.
Tordrekt will go with you.
Nana will go.
Okay.
Let's make it a group adventure.
Yeah, like old times.
The team's back together. You all get up. Roshan, you step into the sun and you're like, just a sharp stab to the brain. Good. As you all make your way back towards the area where you fought a dragon.
Is that pain real obvious? Does Roshan need a hood or a hat?
He's just staring at the ground, maybe following a blood trail.
He's like, easy enough to find my way back. There's so much blood on the ground.
It's fine.
Y'all's
Keep an
blood,
eye on
his
that
blood.
I'm sure Nana's got like an extra scrap of like cloth or a part of her hood or something she can kind of like put over his head.
So clarification, we're getting pretty far south on the continent. Is it still like winter cold here?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Just making sure.
It is very, very cold.
We are still in the northern hemisphere. Very
The
far.
only thing that is warm is hell. And always oddly so. Doesn't matter the time of year. But the continent itself, frigid 99% of the time. Maybe there's a nice day somewhere in the middle of summer, but besides that, you're not getting much. Besides that. But you all swing by to go get Ptolemaeus, who you see is currently holding like a basket that has like a pile of like clothes in it and is talking to a woman and looks over and like gives like a little wave. 1 second, he kind of like waddles over with the large basket. Is there some hello?
Are you busy at the moment, Ptolemaeus?
I can take a moment.
Well, we were actually preparing ourselves, gathering supplies. If we're not heading out of town today, it may well be within the next day or so. We won't force you to come with us, but we certainly wanted to let you know so that if you wish to come, you could.
He kind of looks over the group and smiles a little. I am afraid all of the time. I have feared for my life the second I have set on this ground. And when I see something I can do to be helpful, I feel inclined to help. I, selfishly or not, think I will be staying here for a time.
Chances are good we'll be passing back through this town on our way back westward. Perhaps we can reconvene then, and if you wish to come with us, you can. How does that sound?
That sounds great. And if you see something strange in the sky, it is possibly me.
You probably can, Ptolemaeus.
Oh, that's right! You'd be able to catch up with us in no time.
So I think it might be safer to travel by air, but it also seems very scary. So
Hopefully there won't be any more rocks. Flying or otherwise.
here's hoping. I have learned a lot traveling with all of you, and I truly appreciate you all keeping me safe and treating me as an equal, and I am appreciative.
We appreciate you doing the same for us, Ptolemaeus. It's been wonderful having you with our party. Honestly, it's been an honor. And of course, it was wonderful meeting Hercules as well.
It's usually Hercules that everyone is excited about, which is fine. But this will give me time to settle and look at my research and try to maybe understand what is happening here, because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
There's a lot of very strange things happening around here. My only thing, I would suggest don't go inside the lighthouse. Don't go inside the lighthouse. If you visit, knock on the door. Don't go inside.
Don't have to tell me twice. If you all do not want to go into a place, I certainly do not want to go into a place.
I think that's for the best.
It has been an honor and a privilege. And very scary all of the time.
Yes, I think we've just become desensitized to it, but thank you.
It was marvelous meeting you. I had so many questions for you that I didn't get a chance to ask, and I hope to meet you again somewhere down the line. And
Perhaps we can send you letters as well?
I am not sure how. You can try to send them here if I am still here, but if not...
Leave your next destination with the post office in town. It'll find you eventually.
Okay.
Tordrekt's going to ask Gorbjorn if he could borrow 200 gold pieces from him.
Easy.
Damn! I have 6 copper pieces in my purse, Gorbjorn!
I have 0 money.
Then that's always
handing
been
it to
your
Gorbjorn.
thing.
This is y'all's choice.
This is true.
Tordrekt takes the coin and goes out to Ptolemaeus and asks if he could buy 2 of his shiny diamonds from him.
We had talked about this, and he pulls out his bag, and you are given the diamonds, as he was informed that these save lives, and he feels bad just kind of just not giving them to you, but takes the coin. This should be good. All right, and now I can pay with some gold.
Ptolemaeus, when you meet people like me, which you might, but the ears and the stripes, all dots, the spots on the face, the proper greeting is
Anybody's life except for possibly myself.
and a bow. But I would like to greet you in the traditional way of the rest of the land, and Fen will extend a hand to Ptolemaeus to shake.
He looks to you and he smiles and he looks at his large basket. He's like, 1 second, like maneuvers and puts it down, and extends his hand and takes it.
It was wonderful to know you, and I hope I see you again somewhere.
Hopefully we all meet again someplace where I do not feel like I am going to die all the time.
That is a very sincere hope from all of us, I can promise you that.
Until next time.
Be well, Ptolemaeus. Take care of yourself.
Well, I have to go hem some clothes.
Hem well.
And he picks up the basket and kind of gives each person in the party a nod and a smile, and then waddles off with the large basket back towards the woman he was talking to.
A time of partings, it seems. I do wish him well, though.
I think pretty pointedly, Roshan is not going to look back and give him a friendly nod.
Okay.
He's hungover and angry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Angie boy.
Sometimes you angy. Sometimes you big baby. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you baby. What are you gonna do about it?
What you do about it?
What are you gonna do?
Nana will kind of like gently put an arm around Roshan's shoulder, give him a little pat, and it's all right.
Where to?
Nana would like to pass by the leg. Do we have other supplies that need collecting?
it plausible to collect supplies and head out of town today?
It is, I think, plausible. Or at least if you want to get like kind of near the end of the lighthouse and knowing that you would end the day in a town. But you can also push that. But easy enough to acquire things. I'm not super strict about it once you're in populated areas because it's like, I'll be in a town tomorrow. Like, I'll grab shit. But either way, we'll talk money later. You are able to swing by into places that were not affected by the dragon attack.
Hooray.
I would like to buy a mirror, a pocket mirror, just nothing big, just a small handheld mirror.
Okay.
If that's something that can be acquired in this town.
I'm also going to buy a map of this area of the continent and map supplies so I can practice.
Ooh, mirrors are spicy.
Oh,
How?
5 gold.
Ooh.
Gorbjorn,
I'm on it.
can I have this thing, please?
Just pointing at it. Hey,
Daddy money bags. Nine, please.
Just put it in the cart, honey.
Beautiful.
And so
I think it's a cartographer's kit I'm asking for the maps.
Yeah, I
want a
think so.
cartographer's kit?
I'm gonna learn that shit for some reason.
It's what I want.
I got a -1 to intelligence. Leave me alone.
It's the one thing I'm good at.
One moment.
Well, it's the one brainy thing he's good at. He's good at a lot of very violent things. And sneaky
15
things.
gold for the whole kit.
Stupid kit.
Stupid kit.
skills, stupid
Okay, I
kid,
bought it.
stupid maps.
And it'll come with a nice map of the coast that you can fuck with.
Nice.
On the house, because they're like, oh, we're bougie with our coffee here. With our fancy, expensive mirrors and our fancy cartographer kits. Yes, Nana.
Nana would like to look for a piece of jewelry that reminds her of Saga or Ptolemaeus, or both, if there is such a thing that exists. But they have kind of very different aesthetics.
They have very different aesthetics. Jewelry is going to be much more expensive.
Can it be a simple piece of jewelry like pewter or something?
If you wanted to, you could find yourself a piece of twine and put a rock on it, and it would be free.
It's very true, but that would not, however, I don't believe, cross off my buy cosmetic item off.
I see. This is very specific and pointed, understood.
It is, but it is also meant to be emotionally valid.
How about for this valid emotion, 5 pieces
5 gold pieces.
for a small amulet-esque necklace?
Okay, a small
For an
amulet.
X on your bingo sheet.
You may give Gorbjorn may give me 5 gold pieces so that you may mark off something on your bingo sheet.
Please, Gorbjorn, may I?
Very stingily counts it 1 at a time, and it takes like a minute for him to give you the 5.
A real slow.
Nana's just waiting and waiting.
Just grumbling to himself the whole time.
I understand. Thank you very much, Gorbjorn. You're a very good sport, and I appreciate it. And
You don't need this.
it'll
Bumps
help me
away.
remember Saga by. I just miss her. That's all.
Yeah,
Nana will
Saga
go
could
and-
get away with everything. It's like, I need this
Yeah.
and this. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Nana winds up, I think, with I'm imagining something along the lines of a bracelet that can sit alongside the one that Saga made for her with the Lady Satyr symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
Saga made that. Nana will hold on to it. But she's got another bracelet that reminds her of Saga more specifically, and I think there's a rose and thorn motif going on with that.
Okay. Easy enough. 5 gold. As you all make your way southward, you begin to enter the area where, oh, here's all the cats. It's like the occasional cat, and then here are all the cats.
All the cats.
Like you have to actively work to not like step on a cat every few minutes. Like you have to act. The cats are like in the road. They don't care. And it's like, all right, buddy. All right, excuse me. And they get mad when you're near them, just like just an aggressive swipe of the tail, and you're like, I'm just trying to walk
Can I
by.
do like my animal handling to like maybe like get them to the side with like pieces of like food for them or something?
Can Nana try and help?
I'm gonna let Gorbjorn do this on his own. Give me an animal
Fair
handling
enough.
check
Okay.
as he takes out food and sort of tries to split the sea of cats.
So close. So that would be a 12.
Okay. There's one cat who says, I'll move for no man nor God, and you're like, understood.
We will avoid that one.
Nana, you recognize that the one that had just the big shoulders, like this cat rules this area. Like, you're like, oh no, it's their leader. So that one won't move, but you were able to get a lot of cats out of the way by just throwing little scraps of jerky about.
Nobody meet that one's eyes. Nobody look it in the eyes, okay? It's going
This cat
to
is
just do
staring.
its own thing. It's going to do its own thing. We're going to let it do its own thing.
I bet it would move if it knew what my bowstring was made of.
I don't think you should try it, Fen. Cats have no fear and no sense of self-preservation. So,
And I'm lying.
Whoa, and you just hear just the
Come on,
growing
come
sound
on,
of
come on,
aggravation.
come
It's just like,
on,
okay.
we're moving.
As you all move, and you can see the lighthouse the whole time. And get within range. Roshan, you can feel someone in step with you. Ask your friends to find an inn at the edge of town tonight. You asked for my help. I know how to give it. But we need to be here.
Roshan will nod, but not say anything.
Okay. And the lighthouse is before you.
Nana would like to approach the door and give it a polite knock, knock, knock.
A moment passes, and the door opens kind of with like a lavish sort of aggressive opening. And a very attractive woman, still the same blonde hair curling long around the shoulders, wearing similar sort of fisherman's clothing, no longer aggressively bleeding from the stomach, sort of
That's
leans
nice.
in the doorway. No, that wasn't so hard, just knocking on the door. A beautiful
Not hard.
lesson learned today.
Good manners go far.
I agree sometimes. Why are you here?
You had asked for me to come back by today when we last spoke yesterday.
I should have made a note. I'm back in the leg again. It keeps happening. We end up in here.
You did ask us to come here after you had mentioned that it was something of a troublesome place for you to be. I was slightly concerned, but I didn't want to contradict you.
Well, I am unwell all of the time.
I
I offered you something, Nana Hemming's daughter. One moment, and just like slams the door in your face. And there's a time
We wait.
and you watch that big ass cat walk by.
Mm.
Like it's just scoping out and then it moves along. Nana's met her greatest enemy.
Can I pick up this cat?
Oh my god.
Okay,
It's gonna kill you.
like in an animal handling type. Well,
That or intimidate it, like alpha out.
I'll
the
let you
alpha
pick.
cat.
Like you're the alpha cat.
I'm the alpha cat now.
It's the same roll either way.
So which one would you like to do?
I'm gonna do intimidation.
That
Hell
makes
yeah.
sense for Gorbjorn.
That's a 9.
Good job, buddy! He's gonna kill you!
Allows it to be like this cat is lifted and it's like one of those cats where it legs still on the ground somehow, like it's just so long. And then fully goes in and just bites you in the face. Like this cat, like it looks muscular. Like this cat's throwing fucking punches.
Gorbjorn,
So
what did I say?
you take like a point of damage because it's still a cat.
Yeah.
But this cat fully will not be intimidated once again by no man or god. And
Or
then
as
the
it turns
door,
out, orc.
not a single soul. The door opens again and Loki reemerges. Eyes, you don't think it's like the exact same face. It just is slightly different. And the hair is maybe a different shade of blonde. I forgot what it was. It slipped my mind for a moment. It's because you were so kind. I remember, very nice of you. And she is holding an ornate box in her hand.
I do hope that the letter of good conduct was well received by your employer.
I hope so too. Can't remember. But maybe I'll take a lap and dwell on it, just see what happens.
If nothing
and
else, perhaps she'll remind you next time you show up for shift.
Exactly. And she takes a step outwards, and you can see that the walk is a bit stiffer. Right. This box, and it is, you can hold like the box part of it about like this, and it has 4 little leggies.
Oh.
This is magic. And she shakes it and you can hear like the slump of something inside. It has things in it. It doesn't open, but it's a very pretty box. Here you go. And Loki hands you the box.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I hope you come kill one day.
That broke up a little bit, DM. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
It's probably for the best. She says, I hope you come back and kill me one day.
Ah. Well, if that is still your wish, the next time we meet, and if we are even capable of doing so, we would, I suppose, be honored to do you the kindness.
Well, don't come back unless you're ready to do that.
Fair enough.
And let me take like a walk first, get some of the marrow brain out.
Of course, certainly.
Of course. Where are you all going?
We're heading southward. We've
How fun.
your recommendation and 1 or 2 other recommendations that seem to be pointing us that direction.
Then I wish you all the best. And if you ever enter another building that you think may be private residence, you will knock on the door and you will not be tortured for an extended period of time.
That seems to make sense.
This is
Thank
what I
you
wish
for
for
your
you.
wisdom.
In all fairness, you were supposed to be dead.
Good trick, I suppose. And just smiles real big.
Very impressive.
It is. Odin himself got murdered. Idiot.
Here you are.
Anywho.
At any rate, I do hope that you are well, Loki, and take care of yourself such as you can.
I suppose we'll see. You all have a fun time on the coast. And she like unbuttons like her blouse a little. Oh, and like, no, is it not working? Thought this vibe would work more. I wasn't sure if it was the blood or like the chiseled chin. I wasn't sure, so I was trying things out.
It's very appealing.
Thank you. I know. All right. Next time. Also, I should not be having sex. I'm going to be honest. I'm very fertile and someone will be pregnant. It's just what it is. Someone. Doesn't matter who. It'll be someone. Well, being in the doorway is giving me a bit of anxiety.
Perhaps either you should go for a walk or return inside?
Maybe I'll go on a walk later. And she like eyes the cat after he's gone.
Is he a particularly troublesome one?
I mean, he runs the city. He's like the chief, but is a cat, you know. And I'm not going to fuck with that.
That's fair. That's an energy you don't fuck with.
The thing is, I may be insane most of the time, but I know don't fuck with me energy, right? Like that is, it's a presence.
It's palpable.
Well, it really is. It's unnerving and I'm unnerved. But enjoy your gift. Enjoy the coast. I hope you murder your enemies and it works out well for you.
Thank you.
Of course. I also hated just listen to them talk over and over. So if you kill them, they can't talk to me ever again.
It will be a bonus for the both of us.
Indeed. Until next, everyone. And it's just the aggressive slam of the door.
I have a box.
And the road is before you. You guys know that you could get a good bit out of town before sundown. Like not incredibly far, but
But Roshan is going to interrupt before then and suggest that perhaps it would be more restful if we got an early start tomorrow. There's not much daylight left. If we could get an inn on the south side of town, I would much appreciate it personally.
Not a terrible idea.
Honestly, the way we all drank last night, perhaps a fresh start early in the morning is for the best.
I
All
agree.
right. Good
Tordrekt,
suggestion, Roshan.
Gorbjorn,
Thank
round two.
you.
If you got it in you.
I am not sure if I do, but let's do it anyways.
I'd be very entertained to watch.
Oh, you're with us, Hama.
Of course. Well, naturally. After a time. I need to collect a few things once we've settled at the inn. I just need a little time. But yes, I'll be along.
all right. You all continue forward for a bit longer to go eat other things or go and get a room. With enough we killed a dragon energy, once again, the room is free. Was that a group of heroes killed a dragon and it's easy enough to claim it. Drinks are free.
Gorbjorn just busts in like, who wants to give a room to a bunch of dragon slayers?
And everyone's
Very
like,
easy.
yeah, we do. That's chill. That makes sense. And as you all get back into the swing of things, Sean, you feel a hand on your shoulder. Let's stay over tonight, shall we?
Let's stay what tonight? Sorry.
Sober.
Oh, yeah. Roshan just nods and not like he was planning on drinking anyway.
Little hair of the dog might have been
That's
good, but we'll ride this out.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting test, I think. And you feel the presence sort of move away from you. And that is where we are going to stop for tonight. Thank you all so much. Jillian's trying to end closer to on time because she kept everybody for a really long time, and she's never going to get again. Thank you all so much for being here. We truly appreciate it. We love telling you guys the story. There's cats, there's gods. There's going to be sneaking out tonight. But thank you all again for being here. Here at the Dice Call, we have a bunch of things going on, stuff and things. Frank, could you tell us about what happens on the Loki Tuesday?
Tuesday nights, Legends of Theia. We're alternating and only doing every other Tuesday now because life has hit most of us at a point where it's been really hard for us to get together and play. But they got through the halls of the dead finally, and they found a necro mushroom, and that was causing some problems. And now they found some things that may lead them to their next part of the adventures that they're having. Tuesday nights we're starting right now. It's about 7:00 is what we're going to start at now, because again, with work and stuff rolling, that's going to be the right time. Every other Tuesday night. We just played last Tuesday, so this Tuesday tomorrow we got off, and then the next Tuesday we'll be rolling at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come check it out. Bring your own booze and gummies. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. And on Wednesdays, I believe this is also the off Wednesday. I could be wrong. But our Wednesday team is usually doing Cordially Invited, which is a D&D 5e game, which is, oh boy, can we throw wedding without messing it up? And hey, good luck. But
I don't think the wedding's happened yet, but there's still time.
And they've also been doing a mini series called Cat's Cradle, which is a bunch of high-level wizards fucking shit up, because that's what high-level wizards do. There's nothing else they are physically capable of. That's all they know. So if you're interested,
there's that and pondering the orb.
Yeah. Never ponder the orb. Always just fuck shit up. The orb will just agree. So if you're interested in watching our Fun Wednesday crew or catching up with past episodes of anything, they go live on youtube.com/thedicecult at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can watch all their old episodes over there. And on Saturdays, if you're like, wow, D&D is super great, but on the weekends, what if I watched something else? Well, on Saturdays, we have Vampire the Masquerade and The Last Remaining Light. This goes live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is, I don't want to call it dumb. I think we're just available to do dumb things sometimes. But currently, our coterie is a bit split. Two of them investigating the home base of the Tremere Primogen, and currently leading one of the librarians there to madness with Karen behavior. And it's truly a sight to behold. And maybe then the other half of the group is sitting in a bar with the Tremere Primogen, about to possibly have a bad time. Almost would rather be at the library. But if you're interested to see how bad it's all gonna go, you could join us on Saturday, and I'm sure there will be violence. There normally is. If you'd like to keep up with us as a group, we're at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you all for being here once again. We really appreciate it and love having you. We are here same time, same place, every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next week. Good night.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.